And it really depends on the cancer stage, how advanced the cancer is, where it's gone to, what kind of cancer it is in many cases. It's a very personalized goal. A number of people believe that just because they're in chemo that the goal is to cure. And that's just simply not true. And this really was down to doctors being very candid with their patients. I can't tell you how many times I've sat down to go get my shots, which is what I get as a stage 4 breast cancer patient now. I don't get chemotherapy since the goal is not to cure me. But I meet people all the time that, are sitting in the chair saying, well, I'm going to be cancer-free, in a couple of weeks after I finish chemotherapy. And I've said, oh, tell me about your cancer. And they tell me they have stage 4 pancreatic cancer, which is terminal. Or they tell me they have stage 4 colon cancer, which is terminal. Metastatic cancers are terminal. It's not a pretty sight. It's not a fun thing to talk about, but it's the reality of it. But so many of those patients that are sitting in that chemo chair believe that they're there to be cured. And that's just simply not the case. In fact, there was a study that looked at some of the top cancer institutes in the country. So MD Anderson, Baylor, Dana-Farber. And they asked patients who were expected to live less than 6 months. So these are patients that are on the verge of hospice. They asked them what the treatment goal was, why they were getting chemotherapy. And 90% of them could not articulate what that meant for them. So 90% of the patients either believed to some extent that they were there to be cured or that they had longer time left than what they actually had. So there's a real epidemic of doctors not being honest with the patients and really leveling with them and saying, listen, I don't know how long you're going to live exactly, but your disease is not curable. It's not chronic. It's something that you will not die with. You will die from it. It's a great big difference. You maybe have seen recently that Olivia Newton-John was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer after 20 years in remission, metastasized to her bones. And she is right now talking about taking cannabis. It's going to cure her. She has a 95% survival rate. It is completely misleading. It is a lie. She will not survive this. She may live 10 years with it. She may live 20 years with it. I don't know how long she's going to live. But stage 4 breast cancer is terminal. And people really need to understand what the treatment goals are and what the reasonable expectations are whenever you are a stage 4 cancer patient. For most of the cancer world, so the earlier stages, 0 to 3C, the goal could be curative intent. And that's why they break out the big guns when it comes to treating patients who have a real honest to God chance of being cured. So cancer is localized. It's not spread to a distant organ or bone. There may be cancer cells at a microscopic level. So the curative intent chemotherapies are typically big gun. Typically they want to go first the slash and burn overkill treatment option, and they're going to give you as much as you can handle. Now that doesn't mean that you can't say I've got too much or I have too many side effects, where toxicity is actually going beyond what the benefit might be of keeping that cancer from recurring down the road. For example, when I was getting treatment for early stage breast cancer, the second drug that I received was a drug called Taxol. And Taxol makes your fingernails fall off. It causes really terrible neuropathy. And neuropathy is basically damage to the nerve sheath on your fingers and toes. We actually had to stop treatment early